Welcome back. If you're just joining us, Legacy have beaten TM Gaming 2-1 in a very hotly contested series. We're about to get into our second match of the day. My name is Michael Hingersing. I'm joined here by, I'm gonna get this right. Brendan, Juves Nafina, and also Joshua Jish Carhumiston.
Yay!
It's alphabetical. I nailed it. Aside from the fact I had to stop and think. It's fine. We're about to get into our second series of the day. Abyss taking on, what were the front runners of the OPL until Chiefs kind of took that mantle momentarily, potentially. Direwolves they're taking on. Let's talk about this. I'm excited about this. Do Abyss have a chance? Do you guys think?
I mean, there's always a chance. There's always a chance, but I think stylistically, Direwolves match up really well against them, and I would consider them like hot favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to say that there's no chance. I think that Abyss can win. I think that Luch is a really good player, but I think that it will be definitely an uphill battle.
So, you mentioned Luch there. Let's talk about him. Is he the carry threat for Abyss right now? Because, I mean, he was banned last split. We've seen him play a couple of times this split, but hasn't necessarily popped off in the way Abyss would have liked.
Well, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I would say that they live and die by Luch, really.
Yeah, no,
like, you can prove me wrong.
I'll back that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Luch is he's a player that he sort of demands them to play around him a little bit, and that gives them a bit of a team identity, and it gives them like a style and something to play for. So obviously, when their whole team's moving towards like this one style, and he's on your screen right now, looking pretty good. But yeah, I think when he does well, their team looks a lot better.
As much as you don't want to be known as like that one identity team, and they will probably say they can play other styles, but from what I've seen, it's just like let's just get behind Luch and hope he pops off, really.
But the criticism of Luch early on the split was, look, even if he gets a lead, he doesn't do anything with it. He can get ahead, but he doesn't. He just farms. He just wants to get more ahead. Is that accurate, do you think?
To be fair to them, they versus Regicide. I didn't actually catch those games, but I know they won 2-1, which is kind of disappointing for them, I guess. And then the other game, they lost to Chiefs 2-0.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was like Luch's fault by any means. I just think that Abyss as a whole, I don't know who's calling the shots. They just didn't close the game out. I really feel like Abyss should have closed out game 2. Fair play to the Chiefs for coming back. Sorry, Jish. No, but yeah.
Absolutely. They came close.
Yeah,
they almost
no,
like
I definitely feel like they should
on Nexus. They came very close.
Like they definitely should have closed that game out. So Luch obviously did his job.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's the shot caller, I don't know what happened, but I think that they live and die by Luch.
Yeah. Maybe if they work on closing out those games when they're literally on the Nexus, they could take a point. Do you think?
In our defense, I was packing up. No, okay. So these teams aren't playing. We'll talk about my team. My team was like, well, no, we're still in this. I was like packing up my notes, like, all right, let's get ready for game 3. And everyone was like, no, we're in. When they're not in the Nexus, like we can defend. And I was like, oh wait, no, they can't defend.
All right, well, let's take a look at the business lineup, shall we? As they're getting ready right now in the OPL studios. Bring them up on your screen, and we'll run down. Oh, sip of the coffee. Great stuff, Raid. Their top laner is Pabu. Let's see how he will fare against Chippies today. Their jungler and their captain last split was Seb. Luch, who we just spoke about, is their mid laner. Their AD carry is Raid. And the support is Rosie. He's getting in the hand warmers. Do you find the studios cold, Juves, when you play in there?
Tell you what,
yeah.
Last split, walking into those studios, sometimes I was like, oh, boys, we're playing in Antarctica. It's actually that cold in those rooms sometimes. I remember our old top laner, he used to have a hand warmer on one eye, forehead, chin. I was just like, bloke, are you going to headbutt your keyboard or something? Like, just use your hands,
he's
man.
He's keeping his eyes warm.
Yeah, and then he's just like, I'm just trying to get warm, man. And I was like, all right.
The things we didn't know about players. Right, let's take a look at Direwolves lineup, shall we? Those guys getting ready in the OPL studios as well. So bringing them up on your screen. And these guys, last split champions, and obviously some of them look like resting, but they're actually just doing their breathing exercises. Chippies in the top lane. Their jungler is Fire, who just started with them last split. Fantix is their mid laner. Their AD carry is King. And friend of the desk, Destiny, is doing these breathing exercises. He's playing support for them today, as always. Do you see any potential weaknesses from these guys from the 2 rounds that we've seen? Because they look pretty strong. But Jish, you were able to take care of Direwolves, so what are you going to exploit?
I'm going to give you one weakness. I'm going to say Fire. I think right now, I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means, but I think he's definitely getting carried by his laners right now. I think last week against Regicide, he was like 6'5" or something nearly.
And this is obviously by his own standards, right? Because last split was popping off. I'm just saying that you're not taking this in a vacuum.
Sorry we're not meeting Jish's standards, guys.
But I mean,
OPL, raise your game.
I don't care what Shern thinks for himself. I'm saying he's bad.
But you're saying obviously this is in context of how he played last split as well, where he was a very good, a very aggressive jungler.
Yeah,
definitely. Now, Jubes, you play jungle, obviously.
Well,
what are your thoughts on Shern so far this split?
Well, I haven't burst him. I've scrimmed against him. I'm not going to comment. But one thing I will say is that you kind of look like, so Direwolves won the split coming off a Korean boot camp, and like that buff, like you get like a kind of like buff when you go overseas. Like I know when Chiefs used to go overseas all the time, when they came back, they were just like 20-minute teams because like they were just like a lot better. And then like as time goes on,
the buff
they just decay and got worse.
You get brought back down by the goblins.
Well, yeah, you just become one with Oaths again. No, but it genuinely happens. Like you got to be in a good environment and constantly at that level. So I do think maybe they're a little bit worse, but I'm not sure.
All right, well let's take a look at your guys' predictions then. Juve, start us off. What do you think this is going to be?
I'm still gonna go Direwolves 2-0. I think they're individually like just too good, and if they don't win from laning phase, I think their micro's still a lot better in team fights. So.
Jish, you were right earlier today when you said that Legacy would drop a game over TM. Do you think Abyss can do it as well?
No, I'm going to go with a 2-0 to Direwolves. I think they're just like a way cleaner team.
Whew, let's take a look at your tips at home then, shall we? opltips.com.au, and no surprises there. Direwolves, massive favourites coming off, and also very few people thinking this is going to go to a 3-game series, so maybe it'll just be 2-0 and then out. Remember, if you are in the top 250 people at the end of the split in OPL Tips, you get some sweet Uber Eats money vouchers. That's the prizes available to us. But it is time for us to get into our second match of the day. So let's throw it over to casters. It is Spawn, Fish, and Egypt.
Thanks, Ian. It's about again to that second game match thing of today. We're going to get into that very shortly. Champions League's coming up
Whatever
soon.
you call it.
Abyss taking on the Direwolves, and 93% of the votes going for the Direwolves in this game.
Yeah, I mean, think that's fair. Direwolves, as I said, until they're dethroned, until someone can actually throw... Like, everyone keeps saying, you know, potentially their bottom lane isn't up to where they were at the finals. I mean, they look slightly weaker, Shern slumping. Until someone actually beats them, I don't give a damn where they're slumping because they're still the best team in Oceania at the moment. And I think that the other thing for me is that they match up stylistically incredibly well versus this Abyss lineup. Luch is their star player. Parbu is a person they look to for big carry threats. And you know what? Direwolves have been doing it better for longer, and this is a hard game for Abyss to win.
Kassadin ban right off the bat. That's a bit of respect, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Fnatic should ever be allowed to play that champion, top or mid.
Yeah, kind of just proving your point. Their solo lanes are very good, have been performing very good ever since they came back from Korea. Very scary laners, and I think that's where Direwolves will look to win the game today.
Is he the best player in the OPL? I know that your AD carry is making a very good case at the moment. Swiffer historically has kind of carried the crown for a long time, but is Fnatic starting to elevate to that level?
I don't think anyone is the best player in Oceania. You know what I mean? Like I'm not copying. I'm not trying to take a cop-out answer. I don't think anyone has cemented themselves as the best player in Oceania yet. As in, like this split, I don't think anyone has had enough of a performance over like their counterparts, sort of thing.
Well,
yep, I get what you're saying.
Well, your AD carry in every single mic check is screaming about how he is the best.
That was one time. And also he was definitely screaming. That was that hurt. That hurt my ears. We were in there with a soundproof headphones.
Can I please take it off? We've won the game. No, you have to keep it on. I'm the best.
We have the bans coming through for both teams. Standard bans from the Direwolves, except for the Lucian one, not banning out Elise on red side. Carson and Caitlyn Vladimir banned out by Abyss. That gives them Elise first pick, and Direwolves pick up Rek'Sai straight away.
And that has to be a pre-planned pick out of Sharp. Sharp knows that Elise is strong on the current patch, and knows that it's Seb's best jungler, and obviously wants to play Rek'Sai into it for whatever reason. So excited.
Rek'Sai, even given the changes, has always historically been a good matchup into Elise, and now with the changes, now his ultimate, he is very good.
It's a big pick for Direwolves. Well, they get Thresh due to Abyss not banning it on blue side.
I do expect an answer of Time Kench though. Rosie is a Time Kench player, so I would expect they to take that one here, or they're not going to get it at all. The Lucian ban from Direwolves, I think, is definitely targeted at Parbu. They don't want to deal with that in the top lane. I'm not entirely sure if Lucian can play that one. There's the Time Kench, but Parbu is a big Lucian player, and it seems kind of annoying to lane
against. He's a big cheese player.
Yeah, he is. Time Kench Jhin though, that seems like a pretty... Like Time Kench is a nullify lane into the Thresh, right? Like it's good at denying the hook, denying any engage potential out of Thresh, but Thresh should still bully you around.
Yep.
They can pick up, Caitlyn is banned, they probably pick up an Ashe, or maybe the Varus.
Varus, yep.
In this situation. And then they have a lot of kill potential, they have a lot of CC. Ooh. Fiora pick.
Yeah, straight off the bat, first pick rotation, Chippy's Fiora.
I mean, it's what I said. This is kind of the Direwolves memo. They think that they have the best top laner. They think that they have the best mid laner. And I think that that's where Abyss also have strengths, but throwing the gauntlet, I expect the Jace to also go here, and he's going to be stuck in the Kled versus Fiora matchup, which is not good for Kled because Bear Trap on a rope doesn't work out all that well.
And now Lucian makes sense as the first ban, last ban from the Direwolves. You get rid of 3 potential counters for Fiora top lane. Them, as you mentioned, don't have much else to take into it.
Ooh, Luch wants to play Syndra. That's interesting.
I'm actually surprised about that. I'm surprised they didn't ban away the AD carries. If you ban Varus and you ban Ashe, Caitlyn and Lucian are already off the table. Yep. I think King, what does he go to? Tristana has been seeing a little bit of play. Cogmore maybe. Twitch
is a King pick.
Yeah,
the only reason I put it.
But then in such a rage disadvantage to the Jhin, I feel like that wouldn't be too good.
I think the scary thing about the Echo ban for me is Direwolves are going to have first pick here, so they can just take Syndra if they want to, and then now you don't have Echo to play into it.
Luch plays.
I mean, Vlad is banned.
Historically, he's played a little bit of Zed. And also the fact that Fizz is still available. Fantix also plays Fizz, so that's why I don't. Whenever teams ban Echo versus Fantix because they want to play Syndra, I'm like, he historically has played one of the best Fizzes on the server. Like, he has other answers to this champion.
Yeah.
And as you said, they've just done exactly what you called
like,
Fish. So
all right, thanks for banning Echo. We'll take that. Let's see if Abyss have planned something to go up against this. Really like Direwolves draft so far. Everything's fallen in. Gone according to plan for them.
Only thing they need is a tank, so I'm calling the Urgot.
That's rough. The Ori into Syndra, that is not a good answer.
Ouch.
I mean, I feel like this draft has definitely gone Direwolves way already.
If there's anyone that can nullify a Syndra lane with Orianna, it'd probably be Luch.
Nah, don't even agree. I think this is one of the times where you give him Rise or something like that, and you say, you know what, we're just going to try and beat them through 1-3-1. We'll try and get you through the laning phase as safely as possible, because there's really no options for them right now. I don't believe they have the better 1-4. And the team fight, I think, given the 80 carry coming across, will certainly be more promising from Direwolves
I'm assuming it's going to be Ashe. Oh, they go for the Twitch. That's okay.
Twitch has been picked up by King. Jarvan top lane for Pabu. This is going to be a fun match.
How does the Jarvan into Fiora matchup go? I feel like
Fiora wins.
Yeah, I feel like Fiora wins. Jarvan only really like he has his EQ button, right? And then like he has very broadcast like window, and Fiora, if she riposts that, and then like I feel like he's got nothing else.
According to your top lane swiper, Fiora doesn't lose any matchup in Korean solo queue.
yeah, absolutely not. And so if that's the case, then Direwolves kind of have 3 winning lanes in my eyes. And it's going to be very hard for Seb to do anything on the Elise, especially since Direwolves were obviously very happy trading the Rek'Sai for the Elise. They left that up intentionally, banned the Lucian instead of it, picked the Rek'Sai immediately. In my eyes, it seems like everything has just gone Direwolves' way.
Curious to see how this one's going to pan out. Lots of interesting matchups to work for. Look towards Direwolves, especially, as we mentioned. They've got a good pick top lane, good pick mid lane. Their solo lanes are going to be just fine. Let's see if Shurnfire can supplement that, or if Twitch Thresh is absolutely going to pop up in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm looking forward to in this game is Direwolves need to make a statement game. I mean, people are really starting to, like, whether it's the murmurings about scrims that you always hear, Oz is so famous for it, or, you know, Shurn not performing well on stage. There are murmurs that, you know, they're underperforming just slightly at the moment. And from the draft that they've got, this has a potential of being, you know, one of those 26 to 30-minute statement games against a young lineup. And I want to see whether they can do it because, as we keep saying, Sharp has given them everything they need to now go on to Summoner's Rift and run over this game.
Yep. Let's see if Sharp's draft's going to work for them. We'll be able to check in with him later on, I believe. And I think we're checking with Abyss's coach first.
Yep.
So we'll be able to see what their draft they put together. Because they do have a couple of counter picks themselves, like the Tahm Kench into the Thresh. Pretty obvious that they pre-planned the Echo ban for some reason.
The only thing that I like is that they have Tahm Kench to be able to gank the Fiora lane. So that's the only thing I will say. If Fiora pushes in too much, you just take someone with Tahm Kench, you go kill her, but...
And then I guess like a little thing with the Tahm Kench is also into the Syndra. It's not only countering the Thresh, it's very good into the Syndra. She just ultis someone, you pick them up mid-ult, all the balls just drop on the ground, do no damage. This is a very interesting level 1 invade by Direwolves.
Yeah, let's see if they get anything out of it, because we do want to check in with...
He's fine.
Yeah, Seb's going to be fine. Block the hook. Let's check in with Abyss's coach to see if he has anything else to say about their draft.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Brack, and you've gone with the Jhin 80 carry, and you're still having to go into Twitch. We haven't seen a lot of Twitch, so how do you think that matchup will go?
Twitch is usually like more used in the pick and desire, but it seems to work the same into Jhin. They clearly saw the Tahm and thought we were going to play a bit safer in bot lane so they can get away with the Twitch, which obviously is a scary team fight later.
You've picked obviously Tahm to counter the Thresh.
Yep.
So what do you see as the win conditions then for the Abyss lineup today?
Obviously we're looking to sort of get one of the lanes snowballing. Bot lane's job's to just play safe.
Excellent stuff. All right. Well, thanks for speaking to us and best luck in the game.
Thank you.
That's my problem with the Abyss kind of strategy. We are looking to neutralize bottom lane and just get one of our solo lanes snowballing. I mean, historically, it's been how Abyss actually win games, but I just don't like it into Direwolves, Fish.
Let's see if they can pull it off at least. I mean, Direwolves, have we mentioned already, such strong lanes. Destiny and Rosie going at it to kick things off. And I have a curious theory about the Thresh pick, because you forces the Tahm Kench pickup. Does that unlock your AD carry? Does that mean King can literally play whoever he wants into this lane?
Yeah, it's pretty like that. Tahm Kench has a lot of struggles actually.
Ooh.
That's
unlucky proc.
Yeah. But as I was saying, Tahm Kench doesn't do a good job of bullying around a mobile short range AD carries, right? As a support, you can pick, you can name like 30 things off the back of your hand. They would do a better job of that. So like picking the Thresh and then baiting them into a Tahm Kench with a Twitch pick could have been what they were going for. I mean, it would make a lot of sense because they third picked the Fiora and they were very willing to not pick their AD carry before the second ban phase, which opens them up to getting like the Ashe and the Varus ban. So I kind of like it.
In saying that, Raid played Jhin against the Chiefs last week, and I was pretty vocal that he maybe should have been able to carry that game. Obviously, Ray's had a very good last team fight on the Xayah to justify the strength of that pick, but Raid looks incredibly comfortable on the Jhin last week.
He did. Let's see if he has another comfortable game here. So far, bottom lane just looks, as you guys have mentioned, absolutely neutralized between Raid and Rosie, the King and his Destiny.
Yeah, because the thing about Twitch is Twitch does a lot of damage. It scales incredibly well. But it's not like Jhin doesn't scale at all. Jin's going to be able to crit shot majority of this team for a lot of their health, as well as the fact that with no tanks, the ulti startup of a fight also isn't that bad, because there's no one apart from really Shermfire that can absorb those shots without thinking about them. And if he goes Warrior, even then, that's going to be very late into the game when he can start doing that.
And the junglers have actually started, I think they both started Wraith Camp, and then they're pathing onto opposite sides of the map. Shermfire is now tracking back towards top side. I think he got spotted. Seb got spotted by that ward in the river, so Shern knows where he is. But this is really good for a Thresh lane to be able to punish early as they just trade a bit of damage. Yeah, it's really good for a Thresh lane to be able to punish early without the threat of a jungler being behind you. Because Thresh is really susceptible to ganks. And the follow-up Q. That's... Fantix is pretty but that's a lot of health missing, and
so
Luch has no pops.
I mean, a jungler get into mid lane plays and just flash onto one of them. Fantix is actually a lot healthier because he's taken heal.
Yeah.
Luch has got the mobility spells there as the Ghost as well as the Flash, but Fantix is going to have this wave shoving into him and will be... He can either choose to push it out or he can actually just let it shove in and take the recall.
And Seb obviously told him he couldn't help him because he started his recall before and was just like, no, like I'm not going to be able to come in. I can't help you. You need to recall. So he's going to lose this wave to the turret.
Thankfully for Luch, it is going to be a cannon minion wave, so he should only lose a couple of minions here.
He
burns Ghost to get back.
He really wants the minions.
I mean, that's actually, for me, a good call because if you let Syndra get level 6 much earlier than you, as well as having an item advantage, she just kills you at that stage of the game. So he has to actually do something here.
36 minutes to 23 at the moment. Double ring picked up by Luch, still stacking those. Whereas you have the lost chapter picked up by Fantix.
Yeah, interesting they didn't go Dark Seal or something like that.
Destiny has gone 2 points in W on Thresh.
I like that.
Do you? That has to be a misclick. I don't like that.
Well, let's track it later.
His empowered auto attack just goes down by a lot, doesn't it?
I feel like, okay, in a Tahm Kench lane, right, you can't really just like walk up and flay willy-nilly if you don't have jungle pressure, because as they're collapsing onto Seb here.
Oh, that's actually great play.
Good damage down towards Syndra. That's Shermfire's flash. Seb has to flash away. Do they follow? Fantix does gets first blood. Easily picked up by the Direwolves.
I'm telling you, man, Fantix is playing on another level at the moment. He's already 15-ish CS up based on where the wave is, and has just picked up another first blood for himself. He has not missed a sphere. He is playing phenomenal League of Legends.
Top side, Max, see Chippies is pushing Parbu out of lane, run out of mana, so he's going to have to go back to base. 40 CS though, so TM up picked up.
I actually also had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with Fantix on Origin. And for a player that is as good as he is, plays around his team incredibly well. Communicates well. He's one of the people on the Direwolves that is obviously very vocal. He's their captain. And when your captain's playing well, it makes it easy.
Tahm Kench blue flash. When did
that happen?
When did that happen? They must have, I think they went to rotate up the river and then
got caught out.
Obviously, yeah, Destiny and King would have been floating behind them. Look for a hook. He probably flashed it.
Here's Seb, right behind
level
Fantix.
4. This is the stuff nightmares are made of, Seb.
No.
You don't want to go for this.
He stopped toward that as well.
He's staying in spider form so he can repel the ulti, but he just can't catch up. Spider Bomb gives you like a little bit of move speed. Obviously, it wasn't enough to catch up.
I would have refused to go for that gate. That
Yeah.
is not anything I want to be a part of.
Good trades from Pabu. He's level
He's level
6.
six.
Ultimate, though, that's a misplay.
Certainly is.
Yeah. I was wondering, Chippies didn't riposte the EQ. Obviously, he was saving up the ultimate. Smart play out of him there.
Pabu using the ultimate while he could see the riposte.
Yeah.
It's the questionable part.
Questionable.
Still wins the trade. Doing fine. He's very vocal about his Java matchups. We had a brief chat with him earlier about it.
Did you?
He's very vocal about many things with this champion.
I'm going to lend you in on a trade secret. I've spoken to Pabu for probably the last 2 years. He's just a vocal person.
Chippy's now trying to trade against Pabu. Gets a good vital proc. Uses the parry. Doesn't get anything out of it.
I mean,
just
Pabu
stands
can
in
never
the
turn
limits.
around and take that fight, because if he does, he's just going to get ulted up and
Yeah, he had
absolutely destroyed.
No
so
Cataclysm, no ability to burst the Fiora, so if they get mega low, Fiora's going to heal back up.
And poor Seb just trying to find something to farm in his jungle. A level behind Shonefire at the moment.
20 CS down.
Yeah.
Not good.
And it's the Caulfield's Warhammer versus Boots. I mean, that's a big...
Oh,
Stop it!
No. He doesn't get that now. That's gone.
I don't understand.
I mean, is that... I mean, this time around, it's him trying to be incredibly safe and take it in the safest area possible. But is this OS players are getting greedy? Has there been a small change on the live patch that I'm not aware of?
I don't think so. I think this is just... Oh, okay.
Hello, Luch.
Goodbye, Luch.
Goodbye, Luch. And might be another kill over for Seb.
Nah,
no.
Seb got it. He's out.
He's got his blue
The
boss.
bandit.
So good job.
He shouldn't have got that. If Fantic's a solo killing mid, like it's actually like a pretty big deal. Oh, Chippy just failed his dash over the wall. Seb would have got Mega Chunk there. Jarvan ulti still wasn't up. They probably could have 2v2'd that one. Fantix can float up from the mid lane, but instead is just resetting. They don't get the blue contest.
And so the draft strategy of getting their solo lanes ahead. Oh, looking good. I mean, Pabu's holding his own. He's up in CS, but Luch getting solo killed. Not great.
It's looking like a fairly clean game from Dials already.
Yep.
They're in a very good position. The bot lane is down a few CS now. They've kind of been left on an island there, and I guess that is the range disadvantage of the Twitch versus Jin matchup, and then the Thresh into Tarm. Thresh finds it very hard to do anything.
Oh, where's Tom Catch? You're going to get
Jin
in
is
for that.
6 years away.
Now, actually, that's really bad for Raid. He's going to be forced to flash here. That's a follow-up from King. Rat-a-tat. Tat. Tat.
No.
Expunge. It's going to be enough, I think.
he's
The
potting,
poison's
he's potting.
ticking. Potion's going to be able to help him out. Now, here comes the Kona call. King's got to tank this for Destiny. Oh, one slip spike. Can he curve the bullet? What? Almost, but not quite.
I'm adamant that Rosie could have bought that.
Meanwhile, Pabu is getting dove top lane, 2v1. Ultimate comes out from Surefire just to drop turret aggro, and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, really nicely played out of Shern there. Looks like he's back to his best, pathing towards topside, giving so much relief towards Chippies. They knew that they had the ultimate advantage the whole time. They finally take care of that lane. They're going to actually take down the turret as well. Maybe look for an early swap because of how poorly that bottom lane trade went. See if they can just move the map around and open it up.
Yeah, bot lane no sums now. Pabu does have his flash still, but he's only just going to get more and more bullied in that top matchup. This is looking like very good things for Dials. When you're winning at multiple fronts on the map, like that kind of speaks to like a bit of a stomp, I guess. They are in a position to get themselves very far ahead. They're probably going to look to take Rift Herald when it's spawning in the next 5 seconds. They're going to deploy for that one.
See if they do. So far, Dire Wolves don't. You mentioned having a clean game. 3,000 gold up, 10 minutes in. That's already fantastic to take a look at. And Rosie not having a good time in this Tahm Kench lane. That was very curious that Ray was stepped up so far without Rosie right behind him.
And what Adrian was talking about is he actually thought the Tahm Kench, who gets his passive now at level 1, doesn't have to wait for level 6 to do a little bit more magic damage on auto attack, could have continued to fight because King had already flashed forward, burnt everything to try and continue it, didn't have Rat-a-tat-tat, had already used Expunge, and Tahm Kench in a melee trade actually does a lot of damage.
He does so much damage, and Thresh does absolutely nothing. After he's used like the box, which is like 300 damage, he actually does nothing else. He just kind of whips you with a few autos.
Would love to see how long that cooldown with Devour would have been for Rosie as well, because if he could eat up someone and throw him back into a Jin bullet, that's
it absolutely would have been coming
good
up.
Like Destiny.
Yeah, because he used it on Jin when he got caught. I don't know why.
At the very start.
Yeah, that was a bit of miscommunication. Like the Tahm Kench is only good into Thresh if you're stacked on top of each other, right? So if you get hooked, you can get eaten and then spit into safety. But if you're like out of range of the hook, as Chippies is looking for this.
Pabu's hugging the wall. Here comes Seb. Good parry. Connects of the Cocoon does not connect, and Chippy's just like, see you guys, you guys can run around top lane as much as you want.
They're still going for it. And, that's a lot of waste of time now by Seb.
And they lose a Cloud Dragon for that too. Dire Wolves take an objective cross map. Chippy does not even have to burn a summoner spell.
Yeah, it just seems like everything is going Direwolves way right now. Chippies is just 2v1ing top as they take the dragon bot side, winning on 2 fronts of the map again. Fantix is just bullying Luch in the mid lane right now. They have all their summons back up, so...
Luch doesn't like to lose out on CS either.
Yeah.
From every single thing I've seen in Luch's playstyle, he prides himself on being able to get incremental advantages throughout the laning phase, putting pressure on you that he's going to turn into that time bomb as the game gets closer and closer towards the 3-4 item mark, and then he's going to be able to take over. This would be playing into his own head.
TP bot.
Deep teleport actually from Pabu. They're going to lock down Destiny. They send out the Tahm Kench with Seb. And here he comes. Pabu is going to be able to try and lock him down. Instead, Destiny flashes away, puts down the box. He might be... No, Luch is there.
Hit the plant, hit the plant.
See if he can get over. Trying to. Going towards the side of Luch. He's going to be able to get away. Fantix can't quite.
Oh, maybe they've also got Fantix off the back end of this.
Flash forward from Pabu. Pops the Cataclysm. Forces the flash out of Fantix. But Abyss only get a single kill onto Destiny. Blow a couple of summoners along their way.
Goodness gracious me. That is actually a very good escape out of Direwolves in the end. They lose one member. They've
got it.
Does he get it? He's
Pick it up.
He's going to contest it.
Gets away, and suddenly Fantix dead mid lane. Picks up by Raid. He's going to try and do what he can to push for this turret, but King's here as well. And top lane Inner under some fire.
Yeah, well, they're not actually responding to top lane Inner at all, Fish. Here we go.
Let's see what they can do. Flag and drag. Pabu's trying to lock him down. No ultimate for the Jarvan, so Chippy says, all right, here's a few vital procs. I'm going to get away.
So Abyss pulled the trigger on that play bot side. It was the right idea, but they got literally nothing out of it. Thresh and Twitch just split in 2 different directions, and they commit on the Thresh. Luch absolutely should have just hit the plan, and then Destiny would have died for free. But even then, like if the play stopped at that point, they come out behind, because Direwolves are farming 2 lanes in the mid and the top while they're making this 5-man play bot side. Chippies are just getting further and further ahead in the top side of the map when... like, Abyss weren't getting any objectives off that play, so it's really rough out of them. They do get the flash out of Fantix, though, with the Jhin ulti, so that was good, but it seems like things are just going Direwolves' way, and the entire time Shenfire is just soloing Rift Herald, so...
Yeah, Shern's a big benefactor here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's up a lot of jungle CS. He's grabbed himself the extra experience and being able to have a Dragon as well as the Rift Herald buff. He's level 9 to the level 8 of Elise.
Going double damage item for Rek'Sai as well, it seems.
Yep. Going into a Black Cleaver. I think if you're this far ahead, it makes sense to me. She does good damage at the moment and will get tanky. Potentially can even pick yourself up like a Durham's Fist or something like that. And maybe, just maybe, if you get even further ahead, go for the Titanic.
Let's get 6 damage items.
I mean, that's tanky damage items. Get the Sterix afterwards, you're absolutely set.
Go Bork, give you a bit of sticking power, you know? Chase him down with the ulti.
Get me a new support on this desk. I don't understand anymore. Meanwhile, bottom lane, King pops up, tries to get a few cheeky shots on the Raid. Lets him know he's there and decides not to take the fight anymore. Still fairly even in the bottom lane. Raid actually has a kill and assist, so he's slightly ahead of King.
Yep, he's also going to complete the Infinity Edge, which is a confident play.
With Herald in their face.
Potentially could have been ulti there from Luke.
Yeah. Tahm Kench is, I think they're looking for a play here.
That's
the Tahm ult.
Someone have to hit Herald, surely.
Luke's going to be able to clear out the wave, but Herald won't be able to clear out this turret.
Gets it.
Oh, he gets it. Wow.
This is sloppy play out of Abyss.
Yeah. And it really feels like they're just not, like the early game is where they needed to make plays, right? Fiora is just going to get worse and worse in the split. I think Twitch going even in a lane matchup is obviously, like, it was a very good draft to get the Tahm Kench into the Thresh, so it was safe for Twitch as they get engaged here.
Yep, Rosie's locked down. The box being popped by Destiny as well. He's got nowhere to run. Ultimate used by Rek'Sai. Jumps out of nowhere, gets a kill, but Seb turns one around. Raid.
Bad ulti.
Questionable.
Point at the wrong shot.
Fireworks. What was that? The 12-gun salute? Just celebrating the death of Rosie. He died a hero.
That was the curtain falling on top of Bjergsen's head at the NA thing, right? The curtain call went the wrong way, just flopped on his head. But no, so yeah, King being even or ahead, arguably, in this matchup, and like that, they just have so many scaling opportunities here, and it's so good for Direwolves to keep playing this slow game sort of thing. With Dragon spawning soon, I expect them to look to contest that.
And if you're Abyss, what do you do? Because your solo lanes have lost.
You look for you get to 1.5, 2 items. You look for a 5v5 fight around a Dragon or a Baron. You hope you win it. Otherwise, you just think about how you're going to play the next game.
Their team fight is pretty good. They have like they have the Tahm Kench and they have the Elise to look for picks, right? But they also have the Jarvan Ori combo. He can EQ if he EQs into a Syndra. Well, that's very hard because Syndra E can cancel your combo. But if they get that pick off onto some of the carries before Chippies can do any damage in the side lane, they can win a team fight. it's not like it's not like too far-fetched to think that they can win a team fight. I think they're definitely within grasping reach.
The problem is you only get like 2 or 3 shots to go for your team fight. And if it doesn't work, Fiora is knocking on your turret.
Yeah.
And the difference between maybe a split pusher like, say, Praedyth, who could at times hesitate, or someone like Chippies is very confident. King dancing away, gets Dark Passengers out.
There goes one of their tools. That was Tahm Kench ulti down, so they can't use that to rotate around the map now.
And look at Chippies.
Yep.
It's like pushing top. Pabu, you better come back up here.
Already pulled Pabu down for the dragon. I think they're probably just going to lose it now because Luch is going to have to deal with the mid wave, and then Fiora is already hitting that turret, probably going to float towards it.
Ray's looking for a turret for himself though.
Yeah.
Chippies should be able to take this, I think, if he plays it right.
Yeah, I think he can ignore him.
Let's see if he can. Pabu's going to try and do everything he can. Uses the shield very early. Flag and drag just to get him out of there. Chippy's got this.
Yep. I mean, Chippies is just a vacuum of strength right now because not only is he very strong and can win the 1v1, he's pulling away the best team fight engage that they have on the side of Abyss. So now you can see that Daiwul
looking to lock down Shenfire, but a hook connects, and that's a double play back.
That was
Raid
monster.
is gone. Daiwul's turn around the play. Even bring Chippies down as well.
Yeah, I mean, no reason to cancel that one. All of a sudden, they can just dive Rosie.
Hello, Rosie. I heard you like 5 members of the Wolfpack on your bottom lane. He's going to get taken down here. Absolutely decimated.
Daiwul's going to look to pick up the turret, probably take the dragon. Somebody needs to answer the mid wave. I assume Fantix is walking up the river to go catch Luch there so they don't lose any damage on their mid turret. Keeping that up is actually very important for Daiwul, I think. As Shenfire is just going to solo another objective. Looking for the dragon. This is looking grim.
Certainly is. And Luch, unfortunately, just has not been a big factor. Has slowly crawled himself back into a CS kind of equalization, but right now 4-1-1 on the Syndra, going towards a Banshee's Ale as well, so just going to be impossible for the Orianna to deal with. Literally when that comes through, Fantix can just walk at Luch and there's not all that much he can really do.
3-7 and kills 28,033.
Oh, he's a full item up at the moment.
That's gross.
Not great. It's already a 5,800 gold lead for the Daiwul.
Yeah, you'd have to think majority of that gold lead is on Fantix. It's 1,600 is on Fantix. So he's got half the gold lead, and Chippies has the other half.
Chippies up 1k, yeah.
Small lead for Shern. Small lead for the bottom lane as well. Everyone from the Daiwuls are ahead of their counterparts.
He's also got 30% cooldown on Syndra as well. So no longer are you just looking at, you know, the big ultimate into a good stun combo. You have to worry about multiple spell rotations that's going to be coming out.
Well, Shenfire saw Seb there, but he just walked straight past him. Now turns around for a little bit of a fight.
Wait, did Tom just ulti from the top bush? From the bush with the pink? He did, down the lane.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, they snuck out from underneath it. Destiny's going for the locket. I assume Rosie's going for Face of the Mountain. Knight's Vow, I feel like, doesn't have a lot of value in this matchup. He's already got the kill gem. Yeah. I don't think Knight's Vow has a lot of value. They don't have much sustained damage in terms of like the Ori and the Jhin. I feel like they're both fairly behind.
See what he builds. Could be rushing Ruby. Yes.
With a Kindle gem?
Oh yeah,
I feel like he just runs. That's the right amount of money for a Ruby.
It's a little bit too upgraded.
Yeah, so this is one of those games where Daiwul's, it feels very slow, right? Because Baron hasn't actually spawned, but they just had such a big lead from early on. Like, there's not a lot on the map for them to take. They've already taken the top inner. It is quite hard without, as Fantix dodges away from the cocoon.
Sad.
Ooh.
Yeah, looking to try and fight. No, that shockwave did.
He healed
use
the
some
damage.
Choice words there, but did nothing to Fantix.
Yeah, it did a bit of damage, but he healed it immediately. Now they have the shorter track to mid.
And no ultimate from Raid, no ultimate from Luch. Daiwul's can siege this quite easy. You got Cataclysm left up. That's it. It's the only ultimate available for Abyss. You can see with that single push from the Wolves, they're able to get a good chunk onto mid lane inner and already bottom lane. Chippy's working on turrets. Pabu's going to die. Solo kill for Chippy's bot lane. Stands in his field for a little bit longer just to get a bit more healing.
And this is when Daiwuls are playing their best League of Legends. When they're confident that all their players are better, they have that swagger up about them that they're going to be able to win the game. A little bit of creep block going through there.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't. It was just a Rek'Sai block.
I was just like, whoa, like, how did that not hit King? If King got rid of that, I feel like he
nearly would have died.
Yeah, could have been in trouble. That was a hook.
Destiny looking for a hook there. King opens up, forces Faluch to flash away.
Actually burns double some of the spells here.
Trying to look for a shockwave.
Gets
it,
him
knocks him out
man.
of Dark Passage. King left the flash.
Hook.
Good hook though. Lands onto Elise. Can't get into Repel or Spider Form in time. King still posturing aggressively. Stun comes out, doesn't connect.
They're just looking for too much. It's the 4v5, and they've already defended.
Here
comes the
though.
TP.
Here comes Pabu. They're able to take down Shenfire.
Potentially they can continue to
You have to
chase
go on
here.
Thresh.
Yeah,
The Lantern, anyone else away.
They're going
Oh,
towards Syndra. Fantix in some trouble. Good blast cone used by Pabu. Can't get out of the Banshee's Veil. Flash comes out from Fantix, gets him back to safety.
And I mean, Direwolves, they're playing with their food a little bit. They shouldn't have stuck around for that long.
Yeah.
They've used all of their ultis as well to burn some of the spells off Luch. They should have just done the right thing and backed away there. However, I kind of agree with Hysterics that they're looking quite comfortable in game one.
Certainly are. They've got a 6,000 or 5,500 goal lead for themselves.
And just for context, I mean, obviously new week, and I mean, it's not the same game, although good ball, just beaten up. This Abyss team was pushing your squad last week, Egypt. So
Yeah, we had a rough setup, I would say.
it was just a good old back and forward biff in the end.
Yeah, the second game was really, really something. It went on for a very long time. There was a lot of Barons, a lot of stuff happened.
You were
say the
saying,
least.
you
A
were
lot of
saying
things.
upstairs
Just
that you
some-
wish you
just
could
some
practice
stuff.
team fights a little bit more often, you know, be able to
Yeah.
set them up, and you just took that opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah. We just took it upon ourselves to turn the OPL into our own little practice tool. And Quinn wanted some practice getting 17-man stuns on Xayah. And that worked out pretty well.
King's been jumped on here by Pabu, already at half health, trying to go invisible, decides not to, stands and rat-a-tat-tats his way back to almost full health. Seb's there though, Chippy's now going to try and slide on in. He wants a fight 2v1, Pabu goes for it, he gets the Vital Box, that's a mistake. Seb wants to get to this Dark Passage, but that's a trap. Shockwave connects on 2, does absolutely no damage, Luch is the next target, 3 kills picked up by the Wolves, Rosie's next, he's going to fall, and Raid just goes, team, where's my team?
And I don't know who's more confused, you or the Abyss lineup, because you think that for some reason Seb wants to get on top of Destiny's Dark Passage, and Abyss just got 4 for 1 out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Going to be able to pick up a Baron as well. 23 minutes. This is an absolute whitewash.
They're just looking for the pick, because Direwolves have so much control. They're just looking for their options and trying to find the picks that they can, but then obviously Direwolves further ahead on the map, have the tempo. Destiny's there with the Lantern already. They do pick up King with the Elise, but as soon as the TP comes in, they just get absolutely cleaned up. Their waves aren't in a good position.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Raid, he's stuck.
He's going to get ulted.
He's
What an
stuck between a
outplay.
Fantix and a Chippies. He gets locked down, tries to use heal. That's in vain. Chippies just stands there and gives him a good old slide and dice.
Yeah, so this is the play. I mean, in isolation, it looks like it's a no-brainer. King's overextended, you should go for the pick. What you don't see, however, is a mini-map with all the players rotating up. Chippies is so strong at the moment. Able to come in, clean up the 1v2 because there's no spells left available. And Luch just, unfortunately, when you're behind as a control mage, doesn't do all that much.
Yeah, Destiny flash play hooked Orianna. We didn't see that in the initial play, but yeah, and then Luch is just dead. They have no damage. There goes Baron. That's an Infernal Drake as well. Oh. They got a variety bucket though. They got an Ocean, they got an Air, they got an Infernal.
See what they get on the next one. Because they're getting through them at a fair click. They're going to have 4 dragons this game. Back to air. So the only solace I think Abyss can take out of this game is it could have been worse.
I'm ulti.
Here goes Rosie. What? They're going for a fight. They've locked down Destiny. Might be able to pick up a kill on towards him. Crit shot comes out. Luch gets that kill.
Fiora has no TP.
Yeah, in the end, a good play.
Shenfire stuck in the pit. And they go bottom lane, I think.
That's actually very rosy shot calling there of just make the play. And it works out in this situation. They're able to get one of the kills.
Shen's looking to split push on Rek'Sai. I feel like that's not a thing now that your ultimate isn't a farm alarm across the map. It's denied by Pabu.
It's the Abyss looking to try and push mid lane. Good parry. Gets the cocoon. Sam's fairly low. Chippy's going to slide. Oh my god, Raid. He's exhausted, but they still have families, Chippies. You can't just do that to them. Raid's trying to run. Flashed on by Shenfire. Chippy's still alive, getting all this healing back from his own ultimate. Finally will get locked down. Tries to parry his way out. It's a 2 for 2 in the end.
All right. In the end, that's huge because you get a shutdown over onto Luch, who's still farming quite well, and you can't lose sight of the fact that it's an Orianna Jarvan. Jarvan's still going to get some gold off the back end of that and remain tanky. And I feel like they need to just set up the play properly right now, Direwolves.
Yeah, Direwolves are playing really greedy. I think they are playing with their food a little bit right now. They have wasted the Baron now, and it's 3v3. They're not going to get any push off that. Abyss can answer the waves and then just not going to get a lot of value out of the rest of the Baron buff. It's just going to time out, and they're going to have to look to slowly contest these bot lane inners until Baron comes back up before they can break the base.
And what you have to look at when you're against a team fighting comp, I mean, if this was a 1-3-1 comp, it would probably still just be like a complete whitewash of the game because Direwolves are just stronger in the lanes. But when you have a good team fight and there's so much standing gold on the map, the later it gets,
one team fight swings.
Exactly right. Swings the gold enormously because this is all of the outer turrets apart from bottom lane still left available. Tier 2s are not even touched yet. So you get a team fight at 30 minutes. All of a sudden you take 3 turrets and you get the remaining shutdowns. You're back within touching distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catch-up mechanics in League of Legends
OP.
are absolutely amazing. Back in the day, that never used to happen.
Well, back in the day, you used to get, I think it was 2 grand shutdowns or something crazy like that.
2 grand?
Oof. Used to be fun.
That's a spicy
There was
shutdown.
a big cap put onto it. It was either 1,000 or 2,000. They capped it quite hard after that.
Rosie did end up going for the face of the mountain. He's going into the Knight's Vow, though, I think. I don't know why. I would have preferred going for something like a Locket, but...
He just loves the Kindle Gems.
Yeah, I'm a big Kindle Gem fan. Destiny's picked him up one. I think Knight's Vow for him is a good choice. He's got a Twitch.
Let's see what they can do. It's, sorry, Direwolves are looking to try and siege up mid lane.
That's TP to the left.
Ooh, Pabu forcing a fight. There's the curtain call.
Oh, nice
Chippies gets the lantern out. Pabu's still looking for it.
Ooh, that's actually a lot of the disengage spells gone. I think they wait for level 16. I actually don't hate that play because they force them off the turret. Maybe they can look to continue to defend for a little bit.
They do lose TP though. Oh, this pick is actually...
Good damage on Chippies. He didn't use his ultimate there, just slide away.
That's actually very big. That chunk on Chippies, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, they're looking for the time.
Yeah, Rosie's going in. Where did they go? Straight towards this little brush. Pabu's looking for a flash forward. Gets 2 members in the pit. They're not going to flash out yet. King finally flashes away. Hook doesn't connect. Members of the Direwolves stuck in a shockwave. Good damage. Pabu back over the wall. Abyss are trying to fight this one out, but look at King. He's left untouched, just in the back lines. Absolutely demolishing everyone. And Seb's on the complete wrong side of the map. Inside the river with Luch. They can't do too much. 3 kills to the Wolves.
Yeah, and just slightly confusing why you would force when you have a level 15 Orianna. It's still going to fall down here.
The plan.
Yep. Don't know what Seb's doing.
Didn't like it. Doesn't like plans.
Seb. He's going to repel. Does he go to the blast cone? No, Chippy's dead on the other side.
Oh.
Chippies! They're still going to go. Final comes up. Shown Filer jumps straight on top of Seb. He's running around in circles here, Seb, but he can't get away from him. Ace is picked up, and Direwolves are pushing onto 2 inhibitor turrets.
But that fight did look decently okay for Abyss. Luch did get a big shockwave, but he just too far behind. Didn't do enough damage, unfortunately. That was a incredibly value Fiora ult.
Yep.
When you proc all of your vitals on the ulti under your entire team and you get a 5-man Fiora heal, like, get a free Janna in your team just in Fiora's ult button.
I mean, the thing that I'm looking at, though, is why are you forcing? Let Orianna get 16. Let her get towards death cap.
Ultimate use here, Rosie. This wants to flash away.
I'm not a big fan of throwing ultimates into Tahm Kench. I'm not going to lie.
Got a flash for it.
I mean, big whoop.
Oh, I think that's actually pretty big. No. Tahm Kench flash is actually vitally important. As it, like, when your teammates die, they're out of position. And if, as a support main, if you don't have flash and you're in position, you know what I mean? Like, you need to close the gap there. So, like, Tahm flash is useful. If Syndra gets a stun and you need to, like, flash eat someone out of a Syndra ulti, because Syndra ulti is really quick.
Yeah.
It just starts. She just picks up all the walls, starts flinging them at you. They do a lot of damage. If you eat someone out of a Syndra ulti with like 2 more to go, then like it's kind of like useless. Like all the damage has already happened. So flash is pretty big. I like Syndra ulti for flash is a very good trade.
TLDR, Ejim suddenly roasting all the Chiefs members for being out of position all the time.
Yeah. No, I ultied Gwyn in the Abyss game actually, like with 2 more Syndra balls to come. I shouldn't have even bothered. I was so late. I'm just speaking from experience. That whole little like rant there. I was just speaking from experience because I did it.
You're a big Tahm Kench player.
Yeah.
Like some catfish?
Absolutely. I like pinging my top laners when they misplay when I'm playing Tahm Kench.
You're just a troll.
How you doing over there, Fish?
Yeah, never playing a game of League of Legos with you ever again.
Yep.
Baron's being set up here by the Wolves. They might have caught someone out. Pabu's on... Why are you there, Pabu?
I think...
Looking for the cheeky flank off the back end of a Baron team fight is why he's there. It didn't work out. He didn't have TP, so he had to start.
Instead, Chippy's flashed on top of Luch. That's a double kill for Fiora.
Yeah, Pabu was just like, they knew they were so far behind, they need to make some big play. And so Pabu thought he could sneak into that top push. Unfortunately, Direwolves did have the vision. Maybe he got spotted with Red Tunnel. Seb's looking for the steal. That was never going to happen. Maybe he got spotted by the Rek'Sai passive, you know? Like saw him trotting around. Yeah, Tremor Sense.
Hate to break it to you, but it's game over now.
Yep.
That's Baron buff, 2 inhibitors down, open inhibitor top lane. 30 seconds on Seb as well.
Yeah, not really all that much that Abyss can do at this stage of the game. They got it back to a manageable situation, but that big team fight down in the bottom forest just is what tipped Direwolves over the edge. And now it really is a little bit of a formality. As we take a look at Seb.
He's dead.
Seb's just dead.
We know Seb is dead. We watched him die. Direwolves are going for that final team fight. King has a flank. He just does way too much damage. Pabu, he tries to put someone in the pit with him, but at this point in time, you don't want to pick a fight with any one of these wolves. And with that, Direwolves pick up game 1 over Abyss.
Fairly clean game for the Direwolves, I think, overall.
I mean, it's beginning to become increasingly hard to close a game out before 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Teams are getting better at stalling out. The game kind of falls away, even if you get a massive advantage till you can like actually take Baron comfortably.
Especially when you have like a Fiora comp as well, and you want to be playing for the split push. And that takes time to set up the split and slowly chip away at turrets and take chip damage, take down turrets. It's not just a big wombo combo snowball sort of comp. So even though the game did last a while, I think it's a very clean game from Direwolves.
Yep. And I think that, you know, as Chippies and King would be comparing damage stats at the moment, as they want to do after the game, I think that the really impressive thing about this victory is across the board, everyone played well.
Yeah.
There's not one member on the Direwolves that you kind of say, even though they won so hard, you know, Shern was underperforming or maybe Destiny wasn't on point. Everyone looked like they were firing
Destiny's
on all cylinders
Thresh
today.
looked really good, to be honest.
Yep.
He hit a lot of good hooks, especially onto the Tahm Kench. When you pick Tahm Kench to deny the hook, he just becomes the target. Even though like you just end up throwing Syndra ultis into like a huge grey health bar, but like you need to do that sort of stuff, and he was performing really well.
Well, at the end of the day, Abyss still trying to put up a good fight. They try to fight Direwolves at every single avenue they could, but it's the Wolves that pick up game 1 in this best-of-3 series. To break down that game further, let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you, Fish. Direwolves taking that first game, and the casters there singing the praises of Direwolves across the board, saying everyone in that team performed. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, like I don't think you can really say they did much wrong that game. Like, I mean, if you want to be like overcritical, I think like maybe Calvin played with a little bit of disrespect. Got picked a couple times by Calvin. I mean King.
Yeah.
But I think that was just because like he was just flexing. He's just like I'm pretty strong. Let's have a go.
Yeah, last week I criticised their performance being like, you know, even though they won 2-0, you know, Shern let them down a little bit. And this time I think like as the casters mentioned, across the board, everyone sort of played to a very high level. And there wasn't any like sort of point that you could be like, for a team versus like if you're from Rift Rivals, you can't like see a member of that team like, oh, that's our focus point. They all played really, really well.
All right, let's take a look at this first replay then. Direwolves are able to capitalize on Abyss's aggression and take first blood. Jish, I mean, what kind of stands out to you as you look at this from Direwolves? What's positive from that?
So I think the Elise Rek'Sai matchup is quite Rek'Sai favored, and Seb's being a little bit aggressive. And once the 2v2 of jungle mid there like commit, they both blow their flashes, they blow the heal, and they know that they can get that kill. And the really good thing about that is that it gets a bit of control for Fantix, who already has a pretty nice matchup, but they start like using that control from jungle mid to spill over into the side lane. So now Chippy has like complete control of his top side, like jungle, and bot lanes feels like a lot safer too. It's like really, really oppressive, I guess, for Abyss to play in.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I said before the game, whereas like you want to get like priority jungle mid matchup, and like Direwolves did that, and like that play there pretty much snowballed the game. It wasn't like, oh, like we've died once, it's game over. It's not about that. It's about like the pressure they were like just shared, the pressure they were able to exert over the map.
Hashtag IMOPL if you've got any questions for our casters that you'd like, for our analyst desk that you'd like to ask them. One thing I do want to ask you guys about that matchup, I mean, Elise Rek'Sai, drill down on that. How should that matchup work, Jubes?
So, well, first of all, they buffed Rek'Sai's AD ratios. So it's no longer you have to run from Elise. When you take Fervor, you can actually, and red buff, you can actually out-trade Elise. And then on top of that, like, Elise just wants to gank, right? And if you're running around River with vision down, you have Tremor Sense. So your Tremor Sense will probably like sees a decent radius of where Elise might be, right? And so your whole game is just about like keeping tabs on the Elise, making sure she can't gank, and just being like a pest, like literally just running out of face because you outscale her really hard.
Do you think we'll be seeing you take this pest to Summoner's Rift anytime soon?
I'm literally the best Rek'Sai in the world. In the world. There's look. Mechanically, I'm not that great. But luckily for me, this champion has no mechanics.
Just adding to Juice's point, the other thing as well is that Rek'Sai is quite a really potent counter ganker. And so when Elise comes and commits with like a stun target or like repel, his burrow in like knocking people up, it turns ganks around as well.
And she's in and not out. That's pretty much Elise's kit. Once she's in, she's in.
Well, someone who does have good mechanics, and I'm not taking away from you, is Chippies. And I want to take a look at this second replay, Jubes, because Abyss are able to take down King, but Chippies is there, and you were very impressed with his mechanics in this play.
Well, yeah, so I was saying here, this is where I think King's just trying to flex on them a little bit, and he gets punished for it. It's actually a good proactive play from Abyss, but then Chippies just TPs in, and this riposte was really nice. Like, just to do that, stuns Jarvan, gets his ulti down, the healing, and just pretty much just cleans up the team fight. I mean, this was kind of a desperate play from Abyss. Like, that was a nice shockwave as well, but the damage just isn't there because they lost lane so hard.
So it's like once you're that far behind, even if you take these team fights, there's no hope.
Well, yeah, you can take a nice fight when you're behind, and it just looks bad.
Yeah. Well, speaking of taking fights when you're behind, let's take a look at this third team fight, Jesh, because, I mean, you were saying upstairs, look, if they were even, maybe they could have taken this. Abyss showing signs of life towards the end of the game, but were they ever going to get this?
So it feels kind of like a desperation play. They have like a bit of an engage. You can see a couple of, at least the Jhin ultimates down from Abyss. And then they sort of keep chasing into their jungle, thinking they have to make something work. They use the Tarm ult and then the Jarvan ult too to start a fight. And then like what is actually quite nice to see here is that like there's actually like a really, really big shockwave there. It gets 3 important members. But at this point, like no one's doing damage, and clearly like Direwolves are far too like accelerated at this point. As mentioned on the cast, that Fiora ultimate is a net like 5 million health across the team. That was actually really cool. They were just stood there being like, we're going to get chunked, and like we're going to get bursted a bit, but like the Fiora ultimate will keep us alive. And no one's like panic flashing out and stuff. So that was really nicely played as well.
Chippy's Fiora is so clean.
Yeah,
like,
it's actually sick.
Yeah, because like I feel like when you're versing Direwolves, you know Chippies is like mechanically really good and loves to play KO champs. It's like they kind of like cornered themselves into like a Jarvan pick into Fiora.
Yeah.
And like look what happened. Like
But we've seen a lot of good Fiora play today. I mean, Parade looked very clean on Fiora as well. So we're looking at now being like, yeah, this is a good chance.
Os mechanics.
Os mechanics, bro. Os mechanics. Well, let's take a look at this draft as well, because I find it very interesting. You guys, when we were upstairs backstage just talking about this, you were like, look, Direwolves have run away with this draft. I mean, they really did well.
Well, I was kind of on the fence. I thought I didn't mind Abyss's draft because they actually have like an identity. Like it's Jarvan hard engage, like with the ball on. Jhin can ult. Like they do have like an identity. So while Fiora is split pushing, they're pulling the hard engage. But I think that Direwolves draft caters to like what they're good at, and that's like laning and like being mechanically better than like their opponents. And I'm not saying they don't have good macro either, but like it was really evident in this game how good they are, like what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in isolation, like the Abyss draft actually looks pretty good, as you said. Like has like those nice old interactions for fights. What really like stands out to me is just the fact that they have like in the top lane they have a Fiora counter pick, and I think Arexai has like the stronger jungle matchup. I think Syndra wins like the mid lane, and I think the bot lane's kind of even. So I think that there's like it like relies on Abyss getting to like a 25-minute team fight to like pull it off, but I don't see how they do that. Like they're losing lanes across the board, and then they're also individually like just not like standing up to their opponents.
You mentioned the bot lane there. Thresh being counterpicked by TK in this matchup. I've got a question from Twitter here. This is from Oddman Sarah at OPL. Who do you think is the strongest support in the current meta? Thresh has got to be given a claim to be pretty strong right now. Well, any other takers?
Well, I kind of think of it like this. There's no real support where it's like you 100% pick ban this because there's no counterplay to it. Like Lulu is strong in her own right, but like she's countered by Thresh. Thresh is strong in his own right, and he's apparently like countered by Tarm because you just eat who he hooks. But I would say like if what I wanted to first pick, it would be Thresh or Lulu.
I think Thresh is probably like the tier 1 support pick at the moment. I think that even though like the Tarm is like a counter pick, it's more just like it's like just negates the pick. It doesn't actually like beat it or counter it in any way.
Yeah.
And then Thresh normally has like priority. So like if you have like the winning AD carry matchup, Thresh will have to like roam off mid and like control bot side of the map. So I think if there's like a standout support pick, you want to take something to solo queue, get good at Thresh.
Don't take it to solo queue because if you miss your hooks, you will get flamed.
Okay, don't miss your hooks, but take it to solo queue.
All right, let's talk about this jungle matchup because going into this, not that we were saying that Shern wasn't playing well, but we said there were some questions by his own standards. Well, actually, Jess, you were.
I said a few words. I think
a few choice words.
I think that Shern did play quite well, and I think that he's definitely bounced back from his his performance last week. I think that there are probably still things here and there, as we said. We could be nitpicky and whatever, but no, I think he had like quite a pretty good performance, and he seemed to play well around his team's engages and stuff. So obviously the different CC they had. Him dropping aggro onto turret with Rek'Sai's ultimate for a dive, like he knows the limits of the champion well, and like his team clearly does as well.
I don't have anything to say about Shern's performance.
Quote unquote, yep.
But I disagree with his Knight's Veil purchase
Yeah,
on
right.
Rek'Sai. So you've gone Warrior, Black Cleaver to Knight's Veil, which is like kind of like a supportive item, but your 2 items before that don't scream support to me. And like then his support went up and picked and bought a Knight's Veil anyway. So it's like, I don't know, I kind of feel like you got to make your mind up. Like you're either a Warrior, Black Cleaver, like pseudo tank like damage, or you're like just like Cinder Hulk, Randuin's, maybe Knight's Veil. But I
So
really,
what should he have bought at that point? What would you put on the Rek'Sai?
if he's
at that
gone
point?
Warrior, Black Cleaver, like
Yeah.
just get a Dead Man's.
Yeah.
They didn't really need the magic resist. He didn't need magic resist. Like Orianna was like pretty far behind. Only thing that would have killed him would have been AD.
I mean, to be fair, he could have bought like anything.
I mean, go buy a Medrise, dude, and play
Redemption Locker,
Submarine
yeah.
Rek'Sai and just throw Qs, I guess. Rylai's.
Yeah. No, I think that it was an interesting choice, yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look now at, I think, 2 players who were kind of popping off in that game. Let's look at Chippies and Fantix, I believe. I'm going to bring up a graphic. And, yeah, impressive stuff from these guys. We've already shouted out Chippies. Fantix, though, early game lead, got a lot of kills.
Yeah, the solo laners for Direwolves are playing really, really well right now. I think we saw both of them have like a good Origin performance. We saw them like coming into the first week and beating someone's team, maybe mine. They looked pretty good there. And then, yeah, like week after week, they've just looked well. They know their like matchups really well, and they're playing quite well.
I didn't realize that Chippies was 11-1-11.
Yeah.
That's 22 kill participation.
Yeah.
I'll just double check my math is right.
Yeah, no,
yes,
very
a
good.
high IQ. But like 22 kill participation on a split pushing champion.
Yeah.
Like that's actually ridiculous.
And his damage.
And his damage.
Yeah.
He's doing fine. He's doing
But
fine.
like, yeah, Fantix was unbelievable as well. Like he just controlled mid lane, got CS leads. He pretty much, like Fantix and Chippies alone, pretty much let Shern just like, not to take anything away from his performance, just have a free game.
Yeah.
He literally just got to invade
Do
with
whatever he
no
wants.
repercussions whatsoever.
And he loves doing that.
Yeah.
He loves spending a lot of time in the opponent's jungle. Yeah, he loves getting his hands dirty. Let's talk about Abyss then, going into game 2 of this series. I mean, they've got to feel like they were pretty much stomped in this game, but I mean, what can they do to bring it back?
Well, I think if you're Abyss, like, you just realize you've got a rank 1 mid laner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's obviously, like,
Very
your best player, right? So, like, play around him. Like, get him a favorable matchup.
Yeah, that
Just-
Orianna into Syndra. I mean,
It's not a favorite. Like,
Yeah.
well, I was talking to Jish about it. It's not actually a favorable matchup.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't too bad, but in hindsight, like Syndra just, if your Syndra's good, like Syndra destroys Ori, right?
Fantix and Syndra, pretty good.
Yeah. And so, like, the way I look at it is like Direwolves want to pick for lane, right?
Yeah.
Just try and match them in lane.
Yeah.
Like, just go for it, I guess. Like, I don't think you're gonna beat them in like playing for late game. Just pick good lanes. Just pick good lanes, good matchups.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not easier said than done.
Yeah.
I think yeah, they definitely need to find something in the early game. Obviously, you're not going to get 3 winning lanes,
Yeah.
but I think you need to do better than have like 2 losing lanes and then a bad jungle matchup. So either playing around Seb getting like his mid laner a lead, or maybe like flexing to that like Parbu carry, which we keep waiting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a threat. It's a potential threat.
So
Feels very empty right now.
It's just it's under the table.
Yeah.
It's waiting. It's waiting to come.
What do you mean it's under the
It's like
table?
the, I don't know, like the ace. Look,
It's not under my table.
Parbu's carry.
Let's not like invite the idea that there are people under this table. Let's just. I absolutely. Anyway,
Trust you to make that reference. Trust you to make the reference.
That is enough of our analysis of the first game in this series. But can Abyss fight back and tie it up? Well, we'll see right after these highlights.
Great play. Good damage down towards Syndra. That's Shernfire's flash. Seb has to flash away. Do they follow?
Syndra flash?
Fantix
There
does
we
gets
go.
first blood. Easily picks up by the Direwolves. Oh, looking to lock down Shernfire, but a hook connects, and that's a double play back.
that was
Raid
monster.
is gone. Direwolves turn around the play. Hello, Rosie. I heard you like 5 members of the Wolfpack on your bottom lane. He's going to get taken down here. Absolutely decimated. Trying to go invisible, decides not to. Stands and rat-a-tat-tats his way back to almost full health. Seb's there though. Chippy's now going to try and slide on in. He wants a fight 2v1. Parbu goes for it. He gets the Vital Box. That's a mistake. Seb wants to get to this Dark Passage, but that's a trap. Shockwave connects on 2, does absolutely no damage. Luch is the next target. 3 kills picked up by the Wolves. Rosie's next. He's going to fall, and Raid just goes, team, where's the team? Seb's fairly low. Chippy's going to slide. Oh my God,
my
Raid.
goodness.
He's exhausted, but they still have families, Chippies. You can't just do that to them. Raid's trying to run, flashed on by Shernfire. Chippy's still alive, getting all this healing back from his own ultimate. Finally will get locked down, tries to parry his way out. It's a 2 for 2 in the end. Where did it go? Straight towards this little brush. Parbu's looking for a flash forward. Gets 2 members in the pit. They're not going to flash out yet. King finally flashes away. Hook doesn't connect. members of the Direwolves stuck in a shockwave. Good damage. Pabu back over the wall. Abyss are trying to fight this one out, but look at King. He's left untouched, just in the back lines, absolutely demolishing everyone. And Seb's on the complete wrong side of the map, inside the river with Luch. They can't do too much. 3 kills to the Wolves.
Instead, Chippy splashed on top of Luch. That's a double kill for Fiora. Direwolves are going for that final team fight. King has a flank. He just does way too much damage. Pabu, he tries to put someone in the pit with him, but at this point in time, you don't want to pick a fight with any one of these Wolves. And with that, Direwolves pick up game 1 over Abyss.